All right, it's that time of the program. Fowler's Facts. We bring out our statistician, Clinton Fowler, and you know what we're going to talk about this week, everybody. It's Lawrence Brothers. It's East-West Showdown in New Jersey, and this has been brewing for a long time, and I feel like it kind of started on this show, Clinton, because the stats, the data keeps showing Hunter Lawrence as closer to Jett than most people realize. So do you see an edge at all at this point between the two brothers?
So I do, but I want to make sure we level set before we dive into some of those details. Jett's got 3 championships. Hunter doesn't have a championship.
Yeah.
We got to level set that difference is important, right, Daniel?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, that's the macro level discussion here. Jett's won 3, Hunter's won 0. Now we can move on to the rest of the details.
So listen, there's a ton of similarities between these guys. They've virtually got the same amount of starts. Their average finish position is just about the same. The win is just about the same. So other than those championships, you can kind of throw a blanket over and say they're very similar. But there are some exceptions. The first one is on speed. You look at their career, Jett's got 12 fastest qualifiers, Hunter's got 8 fastest qualifiers. So there's clearly a speed advantage. And there's a little bit of subtlety because I think this year there hasn't quite been as much, but historically there has. So that's 1. 2, the laps led. Hunter does not have the same amount. He's really not in the ballpark. He's got 6 per race. Jett's got 8 per race. So that ends up being 244 total for Jett, 158 for Hunter. So there's an advantage there, right? So lots of similarities, but there's still a couple of differences there.
Okay, yeah, slight edges to Jett, but I still think this is blowing people's mind when we keep comparing them as close. Because remember, this is what we're all basing this on. There were 2 whole seasons where Hunter Lawrence couldn't even get to the Supercross races because he kept getting hurt. So that gave him the tint of he's not a Supercross guy. He came over from the GPs. He's a motocross specialist. I think it's just taking us a long time to realize that's in the past. We're going almost 3 full seasons now where he is super consistent and isn't a crasher in Supercross. But that said, you said there were 3 differences between them. What's the last one?
Yeah, the third one's the important one, at least from my perspective, and it starts. And that's where Jett's got the advantage. And we know starts are so important to winning races. Jett in his career, 8 hole shots. Hunter's only got 3. He's got a full start position advantage and nearly a full first lap position advantage. And I just look at those first turns, Daniel, and I think you got to get there first. That you get out of the fray, you don't get caught up with people. So I think that's arguably the most important difference between the 2 of them and something critical moving forward.
Well, if you've seen Jett Lawrence in years past too, he's been great at starting up front and managing the situation and only doing what's needed to win. He does have the speed. He can make the passes when he needs to. But I guess, Clinton, in the numbers, what does tip the scale here? Is it the guy who starts? Is it the guy who has the speed? Is it the consistency in podiums? I mean, if we are trying to tip the scale one way or the other in at least this current talk, what does tip the scale between the 2?
I mean, 5 keys to the championship, I call both of those things out. So I don't know which one between the 2 is most important. But, I mean, I don't know. Weech, do you have an opinion on which one of those is most important?
Well, I would actually say it would be starts normally, but that's what makes this weekend so exciting. When you're taking a 1 race sample size, 1 random start, it's not like Jett is so much better at starts that there's no way Hunter can start in front of him. We're talking 1 gate drop for all the marbles and the bragging rights this weekend, so I take that one out. I just want to do this for the last time. Again, I know that the idea that Hunter and Jett might be equals is probably jarring from where we were a few years ago when somebody was saying that Jett was Jetterational. So let's do head and heart. The numbers say they're darn close. Daniel, Blair, do you believe they are actually close? Or is there an edge to Jett that the numbers don't show? Or do you think it is as even as it's starting to look on paper?
Well, I think I'm with you where the beginning, there's a big difference. Jett had a lot of success. Hunter had all the issues. But as we showed on Race Day Live, starting in 2022, last season, these 2 are almost identical in every single way. But Clinton, I'll come back to you on the starts. What are Hunter's start positions over the last 4 rounds? I know that's a little bit of recency bias, but at the same time, that matters. How are his starts right now going into East Rutherford?
Yeah, so if you look at the season, it basically mimics what you see for the career. But if you look at those last 4, he's not been worse than second place at the start line. So he's clearly cleaned it up. He's clearly got the starts down. So to your point, if you think it's take the starts, then going into this, he might just be completely even. But I don't know. Historically speaking, there's definitely been a little advantage for Jett on those starts.
All right, Daniel, head and heart. You going to pick one? I'll make my pick. What do you got?
Deegan.
Oh.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I just want to see if the servers could handle that. I think we're clear. No, I'm going with Hunter, honestly. And as equal as they are, flip a coin. For me, it comes down to something simple and immature. I'm a big brother. He's a big brother. Big brothers win. Little brothers don't win. So, Team Hunter this Saturday.
Wow, that definitely was the heart side of the argument instead of the statistical.
Full
Yeah, no doubt about it. I'm going to go the other way. I feel like Jett has stuff in the tank that we don't see every weekend. As you said, he's a master of just doing what he needs to do to win. I feel like he's got another 8 or 10% in the tank that we just don't always see. And if he needs it, he can get it. We saw it in Pro Motocross. He's able to beat his brother for those 2 titles. So I'll put my money on him. If Deegan does win, yes, Lord help us, what that's going to mean in the hype machine. But either way, we love having all this stuff. I feel like a lot of this, we don't know what's going to happen is based on your stats, Clinton. So we appreciate it.
Yeah. Looking forward to this weekend, gents.
Time to wrap up this episode of SMX Insider. Let's tease it. We're going to New Jersey. Titles on the line. Brother versus brother. It's so good, we're going to add a half hour to our coverage. So you can watch the regular race day live program starting at 1:30 Eastern time. And then we'll have our night show begin at 6:30, which is a half hour early for a special pre-race show. We'll show you opening ceremonies and all the pageantry that make Monster Energy Supercross what it is, and the racing starts right after that. So it's all on Peacock.
Hi folks, Lee Diffie from NBC Sports here. If you truly enjoyed what you just watched, you can get more news, interviews, and highlights by subscribing to the Motorsports on NBC YouTube page. You can get it all, so go for it.